Hello, it's Electric Brian here. I got the spring update for Tesla. I have a 2023 Model 3 rear-wheel drive. So it's hardware 3. So the update is a little bit smaller than the hardware 4 cars, but it's somewhat decent of an update. We have the ability to say, "Hey Grok." There's a setting. You have to enable that. Otherwise, you have to long press the right button on the steering wheel. Which, funnily enough, if you go to restart your car, you hold down the right and left scroll wheel buttons. It'll come up with Grok as you're doing that. It doesn't recognize that the left button is also pressed. So, "Hey Grok" could be a helpful feature. There's also, in pet mode, you can now customize what pet you are displaying. Trips is a new energy app that has some good updates. The sketchpad will now let you you could retrieve the sketches on your phone with the Tesla app, similar to how you could retrieve dash cam footage and your photo booth photos. There's a music queuing app where you could queue music from multiple sources into one playlist. You can now automatically have updates install instead of it telling you, "Hey, there's an update," and pick when to install. You can now have it go automatically. The dashcam viewer in the app will now give you more information about steering wheel angle, speed, if self-driving was on or not. And you do need a new version, and I do have that new version on my phone. Weather improvements. I'm not sure how it was ever released without snow being blue. I've never seen a radar map that doesn't have that. But now you have snow as blue and different intensities and mix as pink and purples. This is a cool feature. You could filter for your trip for superchargers that are no higher than 40 cents, for example. The keyboard, apparently before, when you were dictating, the language didn't match your keyboard language. Now it will. And then some security updates. Hope they're all secure now. So I'll go through some of these now. I don't have premium connectivity, so I don't have Grok. And I cannot get the Tesla to connect to my phone's Wi-Fi. I have my Wi-Fi on my phone. In my phone, it shows that Tesla has an IP address, but then Tesla says it can't connect. So I don't know what's going on with that. It'd be great to use my phone's mobile hotspot. Maybe they're just nerfing the Wi-Fi connectivity. They know it's a hotspot so that you have to pay the $10 a month for premium connectivity. So pet mode. Controls display pet mode. Display. So pet mode in there. You could pick what you want, and you could name it whatever you want. I thought something at one point said you could upload a picture, but I guess not. So you could just select a dog, a cat, or a hedgehog and name it whatever you want. So now within pet mode, if I go put my butt in the air, there we go. We have the hedgehog chilling. Why is the AC on? It is 55 degrees out. But there you go. Hedgehog is chilling. A little animation going on there. So that's pet mode. And trips now. Before you could have different trips in your trip card. But now I don't think you can. You only current drive and cents charge. But a great addition is now there is a time. Before it only had the watt hours per mile, the kilowatt hours, and the mileage. Now it's also time. That's something I've always liked to have. I've been driving 5 hours and 58 minutes since my last charge, so you could drive a really long time in one charge. So, oh, and now you see there's a, I don't know if you can see the little dots. You can now scroll through and see more information in the trip card. The current drive. When you tap on the trip card, it'll bring up this energy display that has all your trips laid out. And you could even add a new trip. Edit that. New trip 1. You could add another and another and another. Before you could only have current drive cents charge and one other setting if you have a lifetime one that you don't want to reset. So that was a little annoying that you can only have one. And now you have unlimited. Well, I'm not sure if it's unlimited, but oh, there you go. The limit is right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 is your limit. I think that's plenty. But you could drag them around to order them differently. If you tap on them, you could even pause the recording. So you've done a road trip and you want to keep the stats of that road trip, you could actually pause the recording of that trip and it'll stay where it was. You could delete them, and this refresh button, it's not actually a refresh button. It will reset. It resets all of your stats back to 0. So maybe you were at a charger the night before your trip, and then you set up your trip while you were at the charger. You drive home, you don't want that in your stats. You want to reset it. It's just an easier way to reset. You always did have that on the trips, on the trip cards. And then, yeah, you could delete them nice and easily. Let's delete all these garbage ones. So I had this trip, I went to the Brandywine Valley. That's why it's named Brandywine. And it was like 630 miles, but I couldn't pause it before. So now it has 300 miles added on since the trip. So now this Brandywine trip, you can see the projected range here, the current, oh, that's the current drive. Within Brandywine, what can you see? I guess you can't see anything within Brandywine. So here again, within my trip, I have all the stats of my trip. You can't change it to miles per kilowatt hour. That'd be a good update to have, although it's an easy calculation. I'm doing just slightly worse than 5 miles per kilowatt hour. You divide 1,000 over 207.7. So adding the time, being able to pause, and adding up to 10 trips are great updates. Also, while in park, you could see everything that used the battery. The vehicle standby has used 1.8% while I'm in park. I like that the card has the tenths of percentage. I wish we had a tenth of percentage up at the top here too. So now also for the sketch pad. So the photo booth, you could always send pictures to your phone. Let's see, I want to I'm disappeared. I've disappeared and my camera is double. There, I'll pretend I'm at the Tesla diner. Jeez. And I could pull that up on my phone. This has always been, if I save it. And then Sketchpad, same thing. So within there, you could double face. You could save that, and then you could pull it up on your phone. Music app queuing. Let's see. Oh, I totally misinterpreted when I quickly read the music app queuing. Since it was mentioning Spotify and Apple, I thought you could mix different apps into one, but it's just saying that you could swipe right to add music to your favorites, to add them to a queue. With the automatic software updates, see, I'm on 2026.14.2 currently. In navigation data, I'm on not applicable 2025.44, but navigation is horrible. So automatically install updates. How do I configure that? At night when your vehicle is parked and has enough battery. Huh. I thought I'd be able to schedule a time for that. Because if I'm leaving at 5 a.m. on a trip, I don't want, or 3:30 to get to the airport on time, I don't want the software update to be going on. So I'm going to actually turn that off for now. I thought there was a way to pick the time always. So if I always picked 1 a.m. or 12 a.m., I wouldn't have an issue with that. But if it does it at 3 a.m. and at 3:30 I have a flight and it takes 45 minutes to update, I have to leave for a flight. Let's see. In navigation, we have only add superchargers with Tesla pricing. Enabling this feature ensures the trip planner to route you to Tesla superchargers and does not use the third-party superchargers. So that's helpful if you have free supercharging. And thanks to referrals from great people like you, I do have some free supercharging. There was an option already to show fast chargers with or without, but I guess routing is separate from this setting. It just shows it on navigation. This will actually navigate it to it. It could be confusing if you go to a Lincoln Energy charger that has Tesla superchargers. And to set Grok for the automatic Hey Grok without the button, you go to Controls, Audio, and say Hey Grok. So the microphone's always there, but it's only listening for Hey Grok.